welcome back to my channel. Today I want to be talking about how the first 2 weeks have gone of my new 12-week session. If you're new here, I have recorded a couple other videos about how in 2025 I am taking my commitment to following the 12-week year productivity system more serious than ever. You may have seen one of my previous videos where I talk about how I'm following the 12-week year system, and I'm basically using this as sort of the foundation for getting the planning done for not only the actual writing that I'm doing on my new book, which is my 11th book that I've written, but also just my writing career and personal life in general. If you'd like to see any of those other videos, I will link those in the description below so you can kind of see what we have done so far. And as a part of that 12-week year system, it calls for what's called a weekly accountability meeting. Now, ideally, you're supposed to sort of hold these meetings with a group of other people that are also working in the system. Because I travel so much and I basically work alone as a writer, I do this on my own. But I still thought it would be kind of fun to share what some of the results are from my end of week assessments, my accountability meetings. And basically this is where I'm giving myself that execution score. I have my list of tactics that I want to accomplish every week. What percentage of those did I get accomplished? And so basically if you're following the 12-week year, you're looking for trying to get at least 85% of those done to sort of say that you are, executing on the goals you have set for yourself. I have set one of the most ambitious writing goals that I have ever tried to accomplish for myself this first 12-week session. I'm trying to draft the entire first draft of my new book in these 12 weeks. That is my number one. That's kind of my biggest priority that I'm going after. I have a few other things that I'm working on, but really trying to get that first draft of book 11 completed by it would be the end of March 2025 is it's my big thing that I'm trying to get done. Enough about that. Let's take a peek at the data and let me share with you how I'm working on making sure that the writing is getting done every day and how the word count's coming along. I have done, so if you watched my 2025 planner lineup or my reset of my A5 rings binder, you'll already be familiar with how this is laid out, and that I keep all of my sort of main pages for my 12-week plans kind of near the front here. So I'll show you a blank one of these first. So these are the pages that I use to track each of my projects that I'm working on. And so up here you can see that I have the goal, the why, it's a goal, and then projects, the tasks listed out, my lead indicators, lag indicators. But down here is where I'm doing my weekly task execution scores. So that's basically what we're gonna go over today. You can see a little bit more about these pages. I just created these in Canva because it's been kind of an ongoing process of trying to find, well, at first I was trying to find a system that worked for me following the 12-week year. And then I was like, never mind, I'm just going to make my own system. So really the biggest thing we're gonna sort of focus on today is this page right here. This is the page that I have for my writing goals. And so if you watched my earlier video, you know that my intention is to complete book 11, or at least the rough draft for my 11th book within this first 12 weeks of the 2025 year. And so I started my first 12-week session on the 5th. So the second week of January basically is when I started it. So we're at the end of the second week. I have scored down here my weekly task execution score for this particular writing goal. And so when we look at this, I'll pull out this guy here. So this is, of course, that common planner that I am keeping track of my writing goals, and then also my word count goals. So every morning I get up and I'm working on the book, and I'm using this perpetual calendar in the front of my A5 common planner to track word count each day. And so for me to stay on track with completing this book by the end of March, I need to average about 1,500 words a day or 7,500 words a week. And so that's the metric I'm using to calculate these weekly task execution scores. And so you can see during this first week here that, the first day was 1582, 1546, 1516. I was flying this day, didn't get any writing done. The next day, 305 words. And then here was a Saturday, kind of a makeup day for me. And that was 2,035 words. So when you sort of add all those up and then you divide by 75,000 words, I was able to accomplish 93% of what I had set for myself that week. So that was basically a weekly task execution. That first week was 93%. Now, when you're following the 12-week year system, he says in there that basically you want like your execution scores to sort of make sure that you're really staying on task and you're making sure that you're executing, as they would say, that you're accomplishing about 85% of the things that you lay out for yourself in any given week. And so it's really important at the end of every week to score yourself based on some metric. And of course, the nice thing about writing a book is that you just calculate your word score, right? And so you can really sort of see if you're staying on track. I will say some of the things that you try to accomplish, maybe like with your goals, if it's not necessarily something that is kind of resulting in this concrete, observable, or sort of countable behavior, then this can get a little tricky to calculate. But so far, this one's easy. Like, did I get the words done? Great. If I didn't, no. Okay. So we're now at the end of week 2, and so I have data for that as well. And so when that Monday, the first Monday of week 2, I wrote 1,899 words. Then 1535, 1125. I had a day that was only 214 words, a day that was 0 words, and then kind of like on a makeup Saturday, I had 1720. So actually I have the total for that written on this sticky note here because I just kind of figured out what that was. And so the total words I had for week 2 was 6,493 words. So when I'm trying to get 7,500 words a week, that means I got 87% of the words written that I had kind of set for myself to order, in order to make sure I'm mostly staying on track with this goal of getting this book 11 completed by the end of this first 12 weeks. So if you're curious, I'm also right here, I'm using this quarterly page that they have in here to track my total words. And so this is actually what I wrote today, or this is where I am today. But at the end of week 2, you can see that I was up to 15,202 words. And so I think this book is going to probably end up being, most of my books are about 90,000 words. So by the time I get over here, I need about 90,000 words. And I would say, thankfully, so far, I am staying on track with this goal. I'm pretty close, and making sure that I'm getting the writing done every day. I will tell you, I think I've said it before in earlier videos, this goal makes me nervous. It scares me. I've never written a book as fast as this before. So every day I'm just trying to show up, to get up, acting like writing is my full-time job. I have to get, and my job is to write 1,500 words a day, so I'm just kind of looking at it that way, like I would, with jobs I've had in the past, that, this is my job, I have to accomplish this today, and that's it. And it's funny, that's been kind of this little mental sort of head trick I've played with myself that has really helped me show up for this. Like, this is my primary concern, my number one thing that I'm really, really focusing on for this first 12-week session. So I'll continue to keep you updated as we progress through this 12-week year. If you're curious about, will she do it? Can she do it? We'll see. Now, of course, I have other plans that I'm working on as well. And so one of my other big ones is my marketing goal. And so one other just sort of piece of this puzzle that I'll share with you is these are the little pages that I use to kind of lay out what tasks I'm assigning myself off of my bigger goal pages. Each week I'm using these little half sheets to kind of say, okay, this is what you need to get done this week, and this is what I'm scoring myself on. So, up at the writing, it always is basically write, 1,500 words each day, and then 7,500 words a week. And that's what I'm scoring myself on right now. So this particular week here under publishing, I had complete the cover for the trade paperback of The Last Nanny. I did get that done, and The Last Nanny paperback book is now available. So, I did get that accomplished. But this is where I'm listing out the things for that week that I'm then scoring myself on here. So this was just a prep week. Let's see if I have my week 2. I do still have my week 2 page in here. And so this is a good example here of where I didn't. So the first week under my marketing goal, I did accomplish 66% of the things I had said I wanted to get accomplished that week. So that is not executing very well on this plan at all. And so that would have probably been things like, get a YouTube video scripted or, filmed, edited up, that type of thing. Also other things like blog posts, newsletter, posting to social media, that kind of thing. And so I only did 66% of the things I had laid out for myself. Even worse, this week, look at this, 0%. I didn't do any of the things that I had laid out for myself for week 2. And so on here, I was gonna blog about The Last Nanny, trade paperback edition being available. I was going to do a YouTube video. I wanted to do this video that I'm doing right now, the 12-week review process. And then I also have another one that I wanted to film about Deep Work, which was a book I just finished reading by Cal Newport, which has been kind of eye-opening and I would say maybe life-changing for me. So I wanted to do a review video about that, but I got none of that done during that second week. And so that was a goose egg on that weekly task execution score. So, good for me to know, as now I'm entering into week 3 and I'm setting out the list of things that I want to get accomplished for week 3, it's easy to think that you've gotten more accomplished than you actually have. And so whereas I'm not happy to see this 0% of the things I had said I wanted to get done, at least I know what it is. And so this needs to be an area that I need to focus on for week 3 and don't let that fall too far behind or get too off course with that. Then we get to business and admin for week 2. And so for that, you can see the first week I didn't get any of the things done that I had listed for myself, but then during week 2, I got 100% of the things done that I had said I needed to accomplish. And so for week 2, what were some of the things on there? I needed to update my website because I had the new book cover for The Last Nanny that I still hadn't added to my website, and the links, the buy links, so that's done on there. I needed to order new business cards, which I have done, and then this has been hanging over my head for a really long time. Amazon had about 7 books that were not my books attributed to my author page on Amazon. And so I needed to kind of go through, get those, they make you do the work basically to get those removed. And so I had to find the email address to get that fixed, and then I needed to go through and write down all of the ASIN numbers and the ISBN numbers for all those books, the titles, the author name that it was attributed to, and all those things, and basically explain why those books should not be connected with my author account. So interesting. So anyway, I did all those things and basically accomplished 100%. So good job, Becky. This is house and family. And so usually what this is basically is I have this cleaning checklist back here that I ordered from Infinite Lotus. And so basically every week I put on here, what is it that I want to get done? I have the daily things that I need to kind of stay on top of. And then I write, throughout the week, or what are some of the larger cleaning projects that I want to get accomplished. And so that is basically what I'm using to just make sure that I'm staying on top of keeping the house, not turning into a tornado. So basically the first week I got 50% of those things done. And then during week 2, I actually got all of them done. It was 100% on that. So that was nice. And then here, personal health. This is going to be primarily almost every week. It's that I'm wanting to make sure that I'm walking 2 miles every day, 7 days a week, and that I am riding we have a Peloton, that I'm on the Peloton 3 days a week. Like those are the big things that I'm trying to track right now. I mean, there's other things I want to accomplish, like making sure I'm stretching and making sure that I'm doing strength training and things like this. But right now, the only things I'm just trying to sort of focus on, instead of, being a completely new person and, crazy working out all the time, is if I can get these set as a foundation, then, I can add on to that. So for that first week, I did 49% of that, and with regards to basically like walking and exercising. And this is a little planner, he's so cute, that I use to kind of track these things. And so that week 2, that week 1 would have been here. So you can see I walked 2 miles here, I walked 2 miles and I rode the Peloton for 30 minutes, walked 2 miles and walked 2 miles. And so, essentially of what I had wanted to get accomplished, I only did 49% of it. During week 2 is a little bit better. I walked more. I had 5 times that I got the 2 miles a day, and then one 30-minute Peloton. And so basically I got up to 60%. So we're not at the 85% yet, but it's nice to see this growth, and this makes me much more aware of what I am and am not sort of focusing on and getting accomplished from week to week. So far it's been really helpful. This is my travel page, which I don't have a lot of goals set under this. My 50th birthday is coming up next month, and my husband and I are wanting to plan a trip. We probably won't actually take the trip until May, but I want to start working on really kind of settling, on where it is that we want to go and getting plans in place for that. So I haven't really tackled that yet, but I haven't set that as a task for myself yet. So that's all good. Not a zero, not anything. And so that's kind of the end of it. And this is where I'm keeping these little pages. Once this is from week 1. So I had already reviewed and scored this, and now I will move the week 2 into here as well, and then fill out the new one this is me writing out the new one for week 3, and what I will be focusing on for the new week. So that is essentially how I am trying to stay on track with my 12-week plans this first session of 2025. I hope that you found this helpful. So I was going to use the light from the window, but it's getting pretty dark out there, so I might just have to face the artificial light for now. But I hope that was helpful. That's basically what I'm doing to try to make sure that I'm staying on track for the goals, the tactics that I have laid out for myself for this first 12-week session of 2025. I have to say, like, so far, I feel like I know it's only been 2 weeks, but this feels like my most successful execution of the 12-week plan. And, I said in an earlier video, someone had made a comment on one of my earlier videos, and they sounded a little upset, and they're kind of like, that's not the 12-week year, you're not following it right or whatever. But I really kind of want to make this point, because I think it's important for anybody that is trying to make some big changes in how they are approaching their goals and how they're trying to, to make sure that they're sticking and executing on the things they set for themselves. And it's that you can continue to learn to get better at even just using your system over time. And so that's basically what I've been doing since the summer when I started doing this was, I'm learning about this system, but then you can read the book and then you can, start to do the practice, but I think it's not until that you dig into it and you're actually applying it to your day-to-day life and trying to get those things that you've set for yourself accomplished and then tracking your progress on that, and then reviewing your progress, basically progress monitoring yourself at the end of every week, that I think that for me is where the real learning and growth has come. And so, I have no doubt that this system that I'm working on will continue to grow and change, because it has already grown and changed so much since I started doing it in the summer. And I just feel like, sort of every time I go through this, every 12-week cycle, I get better at it. I get a lot more clarity. I get, my execution it's more in my awareness, and it's not just, something, I need to get this taken care of. Like, it's a real priority in my life for me. And I think it can only get better. So, so far, this feels like the most solid version of getting through the 12-week system thus far. Now, like I said, it's only week 2, and I realize, a lot of it is, like, to me, like, one of my biggest things for this year is the consistency. Like, I have got to stay consistent. If I really want to do with my author career what I envision for myself, then it's going to require me to show up and really take it seriously in a way that I maybe, even though I guess I thought I was taking it seriously, but this feels like so much more a part of my day-to-day life. And, and a lot of it, I mentioned it earlier in the video, is like, I'm thinking of it much more of, this is my job. And even when I don't necessarily feel like showing up for my job, it's my job to do it, And so maybe that doesn't sound very romantic, and we like to sort of, keep, I think, unfortunately, and it's fun to think of it this way, but I think sometimes we like to romanticize the writing life, and that is lovely. There's a lot of, really beautiful things about being a creative person and getting to sort of be in that creative space and, make books, make videos, make whatever it is, is your passion. But I think sometimes if we don't also just be sort of strict with ourselves, it can be not taken as seriously as, like, when we actually, we have a job that we have to go to every day, whether we always want to or not. That, some days writing is like that too. Like, you just have to, I have to show up for it and sit there long enough for the words to come, because it's my job to do that as a writer. And so that's just a little bit of a mental mind shift that I've been making this year, and so far it's working. So I've been really happy with that. But of course, we will see where all of this leads to by the time we're at the end of this first 12-week session. I'm really excited about the progress that I have seen so far, and I will be in touch. I will let you know and do more videos about how it's coming along. Hopefully we can, maintain this progress and keep up with this, like, consistent writing every day. It's been pretty fantastic, and I'm excited about that. But anyway, for those of you who are asking about these kind of updates, I hope that this is helpful, and that you are able to sort of get something from it that you can apply to your own 12-week plans. And that I really think that this has been the big change for me, is the tracking, the progress monitoring at the end of every week, and calculating those execution scores. So they're not always, like, fun to look at, but they're honest numbers, right? And you can kind of see, okay, so this is where I'm not keeping up with what I set out for myself, and make changes in the next week. Instead of letting just the entire quarter get away from you, you're able to kind of make changes in that very next week. One more thing, I am actually going to be, I had mentioned in an earlier video that I was going to create a 12-week year sort of series or, collection of videos. And so I have the one from earlier, or like kind of middle of last year. I'll set that as kind of the first video. And then any of these weekly accountability meetings, I will add to that watch series. And so if you'd like to come back and, check out how I'm doing at the end of, I don't know if I'll do one of these at the end of every week, or maybe the end of every 2 weeks. I think we'll just have to see how the filming schedule comes along. But yeah, I'll kind of try to group them all together so that they're kind of in one watch list that you can kind of just go through them and see how it's gone. So anyway, I hope that you find this helpful. Thank you for watching. Again, I'm Rebecca Taylor. I'm the best-selling author of psychological and domestic thrillers. You can find links to my most recent novels in the description below. And The Last Nanny, which is my most recent book that I published, is now available in ebook in Kindle and Kindle Unlimited store, and you can get it in trade paperback from your favorite online bookstore. So I hope you'll check that out and that you are enjoying these videos. I will see you next time. Bye.